for 2 didn't really get me that excited about the Riri Williams Ironheart character because the character just kind of felt thrown into that film just for the sake of introducing it in that film. So yeah, I wasn't terribly excited for the Ironheart series, but I surprisingly enjoyed it a bit better than I expected to. For starters, I quite liked Riri Williams as a character. She was likable and compelling to me. I liked how she was really confident in her intellect, sometimes a little bit cocky. People keep asking her, why do you keep building this suit? Why are you so obsessed with making this suit over and over again? And her response is, because I could. And it's kind of funny, but it's not like to the point where it's irritating. You know what I mean? She's not like saying, haha, I'm smarter than everybody else. They keep it in line, and she just really wants to prove herself. She wants to build these inventions, get recognized for her intellect. And towards the end of the show, when you start peeling back all the layers of her grief and things that have happened in the past with her best friend and stepdad dying and how she was just frozen on the spot when it happened, and she finally admits that the reason she keeps building this Ironheart suit is to keep the people she loves safe because she couldn't do that for her best friend Natalie and her stepdad. And that just made her even more likable than she already was for me. Speaking of Natalie, one of my favourite aspects of this show is that Riri develops this AI which takes the appearance of Natalie, her deceased best friend, and it has her mannerisms, her way of speaking. In a way, she kind of brings her friend back without bringing her back. But the chemistry between them is absolutely on point. Dominic Thorne and the actress who plays Natalie, whose name I can't remember, but I'm going to put it on the screen because she deserves to have her name out there because she's really funny, really fun to watch. The two of them together are really fun to watch. And also Dominic Thorne, I forgot to mention her. She's awesome. She's really good in this show. Very solid performance. I also really enjoyed seeing more of the magic side of the MCU with the Hood, and at the end you get the big Mephisto reveal, and it kind of teases you a little bit because there's still some mystery with Mephisto and, everything he's doing. And I hope in the next saga they expand on that a bit more. Speaking of Mephisto, and going back to Riri for a second, the ending of this series really surprised me because I expected Riri and Mephisto to have the face-to-face, which they do, and they have the conversation. And I was really surprised to see Riri actually shake hands with Mephisto and make a deal with him. She essentially makes a deal with the Marvel Devil. And I'm surprised because you could easily see Disney being like, you can't have Riri make a deal with the devil. That's not going to test well with audiences and, it's going to send a bad message. Damn the devil, you can't do that. But surprisingly, they did not do that. They actually went the more interesting direction for a change. And that's another part of Riri that I really liked, is the fact that she's willing to do some not so noble things to achieve what she wants to achieve. Like in the opening montage, you see her selling assignments to other students to fund her grants and her inventions. The whole plot of the show with Riri teaming up with the Hood and his friends to go on those heists for some big money, and of course, at the end, making a deal with the Marvel Devil to bring back her dead best friend. I just really appreciate it when these big franchises like Marvel or Star Wars or whatever actually let their characters be complex and human as a result. I really enjoy seeing superheroes who are emotionally vulnerable and have moral grey areas sometimes, even when deep down they're still really good people. It's just sometimes you gotta do some questionable stuff to get what you want, as the Hood says in the show, paraphrasing. Speaking of the Hood, he was one of my letdowns with this show. For starters, Anthony Ramos to me is a bit of a generic actor, so I don't think he sold the character very well. Plus, I wanted to see a bit more of his powers, what the Hood could let him do. And in general, the character is fairly conventional in the way he's written. He's somebody who desires richness, he also wants some revenge, and the devil preys on him, and he starts deteriorating the more he uses the Hood and the more he tries to accomplish his goals. So yeah, not the strongest villain. And also his group of friends, the bad guys that Riri teams up with, they're also kind of generic in the sense that it's the conventional kind of collection of colourful bad guys that you would get in a show like this or a film like this where the protagonist teams up with them and they're all bantering with each other. The archetypes that you expect in that kind of crew are in this crew. So yeah, I surprisingly enjoyed Ironheart. It's a show that succeeds more often than it fails, but when it fails, it doesn't fall flat on its face. It's just a couple of elements here and there that could have been executed and written a little bit better and could have brought the show up a little bit more. It's certainly not the best Marvel Disney Plus series, but it's definitely not the worst one either. It's easily better than Secret Invasion, Echo. I'd say it was better than She-Hulk. I want to see more of Riri, and I definitely want to see more of Mephisto. Sacha Baron Cohen was an awesome casting for that character. When he calls Dormammu a pillock, that made me laugh.